Scroll all the way down. PayScale's a reputable company that investigated this. Scroll down a bit more on the chart. Just stay on this chart here. Can you zoom it in just a tad? A little more if you can, Eric. Yeah, that's fine. So on the left, you have the uncontrolled gender pay gap. You commonly hear this one, 82 cents for every $1 earned by men. So this is when you take all men and all women and just compare just like that without taking into account hours worked, profession, seniority, type of job. That's that. When you control it, when you control for like and like, so someone working the same job, same qualifications, same hours worked, it's 99 cents.
Where's that 1 cent?
I mean, I would say that's within the margin of error. But the thing is that what you have to think about with these situations is, if there's a discrepancy, does that necessarily mean that it's due to sexism? If there's a difference between men and women, is it, for example, the supposed pay gap, which there isn't, is it due to sexism? I would say no. I would say it's due to people's choices.
How is it a woman's choice to get paid less? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Well, they aren't paid less.
But it said even 1 cent is a difference. When you're talking about hours worked, 1 cent is still a difference.
When controlling for everything, it's down to 1 cent.
But you should control, because why would I, as a teacher, get compared to somebody who makes way more money or even way less money?
Right, exactly.
So you're talking controlled as in people who are in the same profession as me.
Mm-hmm.
So even that woman, like me as a teacher, comparing to a man that does the same job as me, in controlled, it's still saying that I make less money. So that's all.
But that it doesn't prove that it's due to some sort of sexism, just because there's even a difference when it's controlled.
What else would it be?
It could be all sorts of things.
Like what?
Well, first off, even controlled like that, you still have to think about differences that people make throughout their life.
What do you mean by differences?
For example, if you choose to get pregnant, that's going to impact your
Who's going to repopulate the world?
No, I'm not against women getting pregnant.
What if you get pregnant on accident? What if it wasn't necessarily
on
a
acid?
choice? Yeah. People get pregnant not meaning to get pregnant.
I thought you said getting pregnant on acid.
No.
Look, if there was a boys' club, and if you could get away with paying women less, why would you ever hire a man? If you can pay a woman 30 cents, what is it? 30% less, you would just hire women. Businesses are a business's goal is to make money.
Mm-hmm.
If you can pay women 30% less, you would just hire women. But it's clearly not the case. Otherwise, corporations would just be hiring women. If you could actually get away with paying them less than you pay men.
I just disagree.
You disagree. Okay, so... Okay. Do you think that what I pulled up there, the pay scale thing, 99 cents?
Yes. What about
it? Do you disagree with their assessment?
I'm not going to disagree with their assessment. I'm disagreeing.
What do you think the wage gap is?
Even if that right there is a wage gap, I'm not going to say that I know what it is, because I don't. But still, that's like 99 cents.
Does anyone else want to come in on this, by the way?
I would say, if the goal is just to be open in this podcast, I think that's definitely what we're doing here. I don't think I'm going to fully believe after leaving here, like that paper that you showed us. So I definitely need to do more research so I can speak more clearly about.
Yeah, look into it.
Although
you probably made that.
Yeah.
Probably make what? Oh, I made the PDF. Look.
Yeah, because sexism is very prominent And I think, or
Look,
my opinion is that just because we're not talking about all, like the whole picture of sexism, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And that piece of paper isn't going to make me fully believe that it's not real, because it's something that I've fully experienced.
okay, so here's what it comes down to. There's not a pay gap. There's not a wage gap. There's an earnings gap. So the question that you need to ask yourself is not whether it exists, but why it exists. And I would say the answer, it's not sexism. So there's a ton of reasons for the earnings gap. Like I already said, the big one is women's choices. Women, when, for example, in college, they tend to study different things. So that's one. You have to look at, for example, hours worked. You have to look at, there's a whole bunch of things. There's different types of jobs that are worked by men and women. There's a ton of different factors. I could pull up, there's another thing we could pull up. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Eric, can you pull up the, let me see here. Actually, I'm not sure if I have it. Let me just double check. No, I don't have it. Never mind. I kind of want to bring it back to dating. Okay, so look, if we want to talk about the wage gap, like,
I don't think we do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll end it on this. So there's all kinds of gaps, right?
Yeah.
There's different kinds of gaps. So if we talk about the wage gap, then we also have to talk about the more likely to work a dangerous job gap. What about, or more likely to die on the job gap? That's a gap.
Yeah.
I said 93% of workplace deaths are men. Should we equalize that? You think should we equalize it so it's 50-50 workplace deaths?
You just said that women do not take up the majority of those jobs, so that's...
But does it stand to reason that if you're working okay, let me ask you guys a question. In order for you to work a dangerous job, would you have to be paid more in order to do it? If a job came with the risk of death or injury, would you be like, I want to be paid more for that job? Or do you think those jobs should be better compensated than working in a comfortable office?
Well, they already get paid more due to the risk. So I had a couple friends working construction, and there's higher risk in that. So obviously, they're getting paid more to like incentivize working these jobs.
And 95% of construction workers, probably more than 95%, are men.
I would agree, yeah. But going off like what you said about choices, now, obviously men do work those jobs more, and I will agree that women choose to not work those jobs more. But at the end of the day, like, men still choose to do that job instead of a lower risk job.
Yeah. But okay, should we close the gap? If we should close the wage gap, which we've pretty much done, shouldn't we try to close it in other industries too, don't you think? Like,
but like, aren't those hard gaps to compare? Like, you're comparing like a death, like a rate of how many people die on the job, and then like how well, like, how would you close the gap of death?
We should have maybe more female construction workers.
Okay.
More female roofers.
But you said choice, and so it's everybody's choice for what they want to do.
That's right. And women choose to go into careers that happen to be, generally speaking, lower paying careers.
But
and it also comes down
we're
to...
saying like people in the same job.
Yeah.
Like, we can't compare two different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's talking about like people in the same exact job. Because, like, of course you compare, like, a construction worker who's earning a lot an hour to, like, a woman earning. Yeah, that's choice. Like, she chose to take that lower-paying job, and then he chose to take a higher-paying job. But, like, maybe, like, in the same business or same corporation or same job, whatever the case.
Okay.
Then maybe we could compare those, but, like, we can't compare two different jobs. I don't know.
Sure.
Agreed.
Let's move on from this.